Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Divine Soul Guidance. My name is April and I'm a spiritual mentor and awakening guide, here to guide and support you through the stages of awakening. Today's message is one that has been instrumental to me on my own spiritual path, and one that I dedicate several lessons to in my Soul Awakened course. Learning how to create space in your life physically, energetically, emotionally, and mentally is critical in order for us to grow and evolve, but also in order for us to receive what it is we've been praying for or asking for. I've used this analogy before on my Instagram site, but think of clutter in terms of air filling your lungs. When your lungs breathe in air and become full to capacity, they cannot hold any more oxygen. In order for you to take another breath and for us to fill ourselves up again, we must release, or in this case, exhale, all of the air that is filling up our lungs. When we hold on to people, things, emotions, or energies that are no longer serving us, we're unnecessarily occupying our minds, bodies, and spirits with baggage that is taking up space. In order to welcome in more of what we want to see, experience, or receive, such as love, joy, abundance, peace, opportunities, and dreams, we must clear out the clutter in our systems. This includes mental clutter, physical clutter, emotional clutter, or energetic clutter. And today we're going to talk about how to do that and also how this can help us on our spiritual growth journey. I want to start by talking about why purging is necessary as we grow spiritually or otherwise. Expansion calls for space. We can only grow or expand into space when we have made room for something new to come in. This is similar to the way a crab outgrows its shell. When a crab grows and grows, pretty soon it needs to leave its home and go search for a new one. Not to say that you have to leave your home, but if you are in a small container, energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, at some point as you're growing, you're going to outgrow that container and you're going to need to clear out space so that you can fill up a bigger container. Also, something to note is that just as when a crab leaves one environment, his home, to move to another, you will probably experience an in-between phase. There will be a period of time where you've outgrown your old environment, your old belief systems, even the old people that you were attached to, and you haven't yet arrived to your new destination or seen with your physical eyes your new reality. This can cause us sometimes to lose faith in this in-between period because we know what we're working toward, we know what our dream is, we know what it is that we want to see and experience, but we haven't yet seen it in our physical reality. Just know that this is normal and that there will be a period of time where you're kind of in between where you were and where you want to be. Remember that in order for something new to come in, something old must go. Not everything in our lives deserves to take up space in our energy or in our emotional or mental body. This is why the process of regular self-reflection, purging, and clearing out the clutter is necessary. We must make time for this to occur and also be intentional about stopping to self-assess. Is this relationship serving me? Is this job serving me? Is this mindset serving me? Are these emotions serving me? And are the things in my physical space serving me? And if they're not, what are some steps that I can take or decisions that I need to make to change that? Next, let's talk about which areas of our lives tend to accumulate a lot of clutter, and then how to notice where the blockages lie. One area is our physical space. Another is our mental space. Then we have our emotional space. And finally, our energetic space. So your physical space obviously would include your home where you live. It can also include your office where you work, because we spend a lot of time there. It can include the environment, like the city that you live in. And it can also include your human vessel. And in the next segment, we'll talk a little bit about how you can clean up those areas. But those are the physical spaces that I just want you to pay attention to and observe carefully to see if there's any extra clutter or things taking up space that don't need to be. Next, let's go into your mental space. Many times our thoughts run on repeat. They say that 90% of our thoughts are repeated from one day to the next. So stop and assess. Are you having unhelpful or intrusive thoughts? Is your mind really busy all the time? Are you all up in your head and not centered in your heart or grounded in your body? And in the next segment, we'll talk about healthy ways that you can use to get the thoughts out of your mind or to quiet the mind down. Third is your emotional space. So when we have extra clutter in our emotional body, then you may notice that you feel this need to release, right? Like you get really worked up about something, or you feel that you're at your maximum capacity with a difficult situation that you're dealing with, then you may feel the need to release or purge emotions. And sometimes that comes in the form of crying, screaming. We'll talk about that a little bit more coming up. Another way our emotional space can be cluttered is not letting go of things. If we cling on to people or grief or difficult things that have happened to us and just cling on to those emotions because we're scared to feel them, that can take up space in our emotional body as well. And that goes the same with learning how to accept things that have happened to you. And then finally, learning how to regulate our nervous system so that we can better cope with difficult emotions when they arise. The last area of our life that can accumulate clutter is our energetic body. And that's something we don't pay attention to very well, but if you're on this spiritual path, then you most certainly are aware of your energy, how you feel in the presence of other people or in certain situations. But anytime we have too much negative energy in our energetic body, or if we're around low vibrational individuals for a long period of time, this can create blockages in our chakra system and our energetic body. If we have too much negative energy built up in our system, it can overwhelm our system and it can just make us feel unsettled or uneasy. Our energetic space can also be interrupted or cluttered when we take on too many things and our energy gets kind of scrambled. So again, in the next segment, we'll talk about how you can prevent this from happening. In this next segment, we will talk a little bit about how you can go about clearing the clutter in each of these areas of your life. I'm not going to go into them at a lot of length, so if you're curious to learn more, you can sure reach out to me personally through email or through a DM message, or check out my Soul Awakened course where I spend several lessons going into detail about how to do these energetic and physical clearings. Our physical space is one of the spaces where we tend to accumulate a lot of clutter. It can be your home office, your car, the place where you work, anything where you keep your stuff, basically. And it's always a good practice once or twice a year. I like to do this at the beginning of the new year as a way to start fresh, but I really purge all year round. And it's a good idea to do this on a regular basis, to go through your house, top to bottom, your office and your car, the spaces where you live and exist, to see if there's any unwanted items that are maybe tied to your past that you no longer need to hold on to, old items that you don't use anymore that are just taking up energy or space, and to get rid of all of those things. Donate them, repurpose them, give them to someone who might use them. Keeping our space clean and comfortable helps us feel safe and more at ease. If we surround ourselves with things that make us feel more relaxed, like candles, soft blankets and pillows, things that smell good, it just makes our environment that much easier to exist in, and it helps us feel less energetically drained. Next, some tips for clearing out your mental clutter are to always be aware of your thoughts at all times. Because as I said, 90% of our thoughts are repeated, and they're not always helpful thoughts. So when you notice that you're having an intrusive thought or a negative thought, stop yourself immediately and try to turn your attention towards something more positive, such as a fond memory, something you're grateful for, something that you appreciate in the room that you're in, so that your mind isn't focused on the thoughts that drain you and make you feel low vibrational. Notice also when your mind gets busy, when you're in overdrive and you're stressed and you're anxious. This usually means you haven't given your mind a rest. Doing activities that get you out of your head and into your body will prevent your mind from working on overdrive. For example, stretching, yoga, dancing, a hot bath, a massage are all great ways to be present in your body and to get out of your head. Next, to clear emotional clutter out of your body. And this is probably one of the harder ones because sometimes we avoid purging and releasing. We avoid our pain. But to clear emotions out of your body is just to allow yourself space to feel your feelings. Allow yourself space to cry if you need to cry. Vent to a friend if you need someone to listen to you and get it off of your chest. It might be something physical that you do that matches the emotion that you feel. For instance, if you're really angry, maybe you need to punch a pillow or hit something that's going to help you release that. Whatever you don't release gets repressed. Those emotions get repressed and it starts causing physical consequences, physical ailments. Grief is another one that can come in waves and that can catch us off guard. And sometimes the pain is so deep that we want to avoid feeling grief. And so we try to shove it down, or maybe we're not in a place where we can fully release it. But really be compassionate with yourself and try to give yourself space to grieve and let it all come out of you. It might hit you 1 week and then not for another 2 months. So even though it felt like you released it all, there may be more emotions stuck in there that just need to come out slowly, and just allow yourself to do that slowly. At times where I've felt a lot of grief, I have just given myself uninterrupted time in a private place where I can just fully let it out. And it might be ugly crying, it might be wailing, sobbing. I mean, whatever it looks like, it doesn't matter, because the point is to release it. And after you have one of those big emotional purges, it feels such a relief. It feels so much better to your nervous system, to your body, just to get those emotions out. When we hold on to them, that is when we are making it difficult on ourselves to allow in more positive feelings. So those difficult emotions need to come out, as I said, so that we can fill ourselves back up with things that are more positive, like joy, peace, hope, optimism, etc. Okay, I'll make this last one brief because I've already gone into a lot of detail with the others. But to clear energy from your body, there are lots of different ways to do this. And in fact, I spend a whole chapter in my course going into it. So I'll just mention a few, but I would recommend just educating yourself on your energetic body, how it works, your chakra system, how energy can get trapped in our body, as well as how we can release it. and find some different methods that work for you and feel good to you. One way to release energy is through breath work. And I used to do this a lot more, but I found it really helpful in the beginning when I was going through a lot of very challenging life circumstances. But breath work, it literally moves your energy up and out with your breath, up and out of your body, so that anything that's stuck inside and is causing anxiety or feelings of unease or dis-ease can be released. Movement, yoga, sound frequencies, dance, those are all other ways that you can move energy through your body. My favorite thing is dancing. And I feel amazing after I dance because I can feel the energy moving through me. Sometimes I get goosebumps when I dance because it feels so good. And it helps me loosen up and just release everything that's stuck. So if any of those activities sound appealing to you, I would encourage you to incorporate them, research them, try to find ways each week that you are building those into your routine so that you're releasing energy on a regular basis. Our bodies are always speaking to us. So your body will tell you when you have something to release, whether that's an emotion or extra energy, etc. The body will tell us in a couple of different ways. Either you might start having physical aches, physical pain, muscle tension, depression, anxiety, or fatigued. Or it could be other emotions that are signaling that something is out of balance. So our bodies and our emotions are huge indicators of where we're storing extra clutter. In fact, when you are a little further along on your spiritual journey, you will even discover specific areas of your body are tied to specific ailments or emotions. For example, I have a lot of shoulder tension and shoulder pain. I have a left shoulder issue. And when we have shoulder tension, a lot of times what it means is that we're carrying too many burdens, which I absolutely have over the last few years. So when I notice my shoulders getting really tense, that is a signal to me that I need to stop and really take care of myself. Learning to listen to your inner being, to your body and your emotions will help you pinpoint the source of the imbalance. As we are thinking of ways to clear out space, remember that the universe cannot fill a space that is already full. If you are looking for a relationship, for example, but you don't allow any space in your life for connection, or you're surrounded with people that are holding you back in some way, or who aren't being supportive of you, then you must make some adjustments so that you have more room to receive in that area of your life. Self-love is actually a really great way to get yourself in a space to receive a new relationship, but so is tidying up the relationships that you already have. I want to share a couple of examples, one personal and one I've heard elsewhere, of people who took extreme measures to create space in their lives for what they wanted to receive. The personal example I want to share is the time where I quit my job after teaching for 15 years. And I took a leap of faith that I was going to embark on this new adventure to a new career path, but I had no idea what was waiting for me on the other side. I just knew, it was like, okay, if I leave this job that's not fulfilling me and that no longer fits the person that I'm becoming, that God and the universe are going to come through for me. So I made the space. I created the space, and in the summer after I quit my job, I gave myself lots of time to reflect on what kind of job I wanted, where I was headed, where I saw myself going, and lo and behold, the universe delivered. The other story I have is about a situation I heard on a podcast once where this woman had sold her house. She sold all her belongings. She quit her job and she moved to a new city with no safety net. In other words, She didn't have a partner's income that she could rely on. She didn't have like a huge savings or anything. And she didn't have a job offer waiting for her. But she knew deep in her heart she had outgrown the place where she was living and she just needed to go. And so she did. She took a leap of faith. She was trusting her gut. She was trusting what God and the universe was calling her to do. And within a couple of months, she found this perfect apartment that matched exactly what she was wanting and her dream job. And then I think she got her partner a short time after that. So it reminded me that it can happen if you create the space for the universe to bring you what you're asking for, that it always works out. There's always a way. Whatever the situation might be for you, the universe cannot deliver the blessings and opportunities you've prayed for or you've been working toward if you don't have the capacity to receive them. I've also learned along my journey that having the capacity within our nervous system is also necessary. God knows enough to know what you can handle. He knows if the pieces of your life, your mind, body, and spirit are in a place to receive the blessings and appreciate them, then He will send them to you. That way you won't get overwhelmed or out of balance. That business you're starting, for example, do you have the capacity energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally to run it to the best of your ability, meet your clients' needs, and perform well without getting stressed, overwhelmed, or burned out? The move you're planning to make, are you fully prepared to leave behind the safety of the place you've known and start all over somewhere new? Only you and God will know the answer to that, but God definitely knows best. You will also feel ready in your body when there's no resistance. You will feel balanced and centered. You'll feel excited about the decision that you're making or the opportunity, and you'll have no doubts about it. Your body will give you a full body hell yes. And I usually feel this in my gut or in my heart space. When we've created the necessary space in our lives to receive, and our minds, bodies, and spirits are prepared to handle and appreciate the blessings and opportunities that the universe wants to offer us, they will naturally and easily gravitate towards us. That concludes today's message. Thank you for listening. If you wish to go deeper into today's topic or you found this message helpful, feel free to reach out to me on my social media platforms or through email, or follow this channel for more upcoming content. For those of you who are in the early stages of your spiritual awakening, I would encourage you to check out my Soul Awakened course and one-on-one mentorship program, which walks you step by step through the stages of awakening and gives you tips and resources for what to expect at each stage and how to overcome common blocks and challenges. Sending you so much love on your journey. Take care.